So I very rarely do product reviews. I do them if people send me stuff, if they want me to review something for them. Usually it's mats, usually it's, kind of gaming protection, like deck boxes, sleeves, etc., etc. But this is the first time ever I'm doing one that I honestly think is a game changer, and I hope you guys enjoy too. I know this isn't the usual content, but trust me, this is something you definitely want to check out. Field centers. They've become a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! The reason why is because the game board changed forever. We always had the 2 rows, we had the pendulums on the side, then they decided to put the pendulums in the back, and then they decided to add the 2 extra monster zones in the upper corner. Now a lot of people who use Spellground mats have to use a field center, and this is usually what your field center is. This is the one I stole from Johnny. Shout out to you, Johnny, if you watch this. So you're not getting this back. But this is like a translucent field center of Linkuriboh. This is one you got for Yu-Gi-Oh! Day. I'm just using it as an example. What these usually are is like, they're kind of like a card, to be honest. They are bigger than a card, but they are basically just that. And all you do is you just place it, kind of like wherever at the top of your mat. And, it keeps your zones, separated for you and your opponent. Now, one thing I have noticed with field centers, and a lot of people will talk about this, is that, number one, you always have to put them in a sleeve. You have to put them in a sleeve because of, they're fragile. They're fragile. They're like a card. And you guys know if you cut a card, if you damage a card, you cause gashes on the card, it's going to leave an imprint, it's going to leave a mark, and it's going to be something that, unfortunately, is just not that appealing depending to the player. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, Slim, I don't need a field center. A lot of people do it just kind of to flex. But one thing about field centers is that, number one, it does provide a service that it does, separate your zones. It does, column management is very important, because I know Mech Knights haven't been the most popular cards, but you guys know, being an avid Mech Knight player, if you don't keep track of your columns, you can pay the price. Same goes for Infinite Impermanence. Those are 2 kinds of cards that basically, it matters where you place your cards in columns, so these always do help. Now, one thing I have said is that these are kind of flimsy and that they can get damaged easily. Well, the boys over at the dealing team actually have a game changer, and I hope you guys really enjoy this. That's right. This is their field centers, and there's something you will notice about them. They're acrylic. They're actually made with acrylic, and this is a custom one for the Golden Goats. Shout out to my team, the Golden Goats, that they were kind enough to send me. This thing is actually insane. These field centers are unlike other field centers. As you guys can see, they are completely encased. They're still pretty thin, and they're very strong. I actually can have a video right now I want you guys to watch. It's about a 30-second video to show you guys just how sturdy these field centers are, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. All right, so I'm pretty sure you guys saw that video. Pretty crazy, right? That's right. That's just how strong these are, and I really, really like them. This is something that, I personally use. I do use mats like this. I use sneak preview mats, but now with the new rule change, there's also a new rule change. So one thing I'll let you guys know, if you guys have ever played against me at an event, most decks I play include a banish pile, and for me, I've always used the back area here behind the spell and trap zone, like if you can see where my fingers are, as my banish zone, and this has just always worked for me. I mean, the area is huge, and right now you can't do that anymore. If you guys read the tournament policy documents, you cannot do that anymore. You cannot be placing cards here in the here in the back area. So I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. I'm not going to be able to like place my banish cards here and then just be like, oh, what did you banish? Well, here's my banish pile right here. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. It has to stay up here next to your graveyard. So that's going to be a problem. And I personally think I'll be changing mats due to this, because they're going to be very strict on these policies that are already in effect now. And I definitely don't want to have that problem. So for me, I'm going to have to change mats. Now, granted, I don't know if I'm going to be using a mat that has zones anymore, but that's where I'm saying field centers like this come in handy. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Slim, I don't need a field center. Slim, what, you know, what's the point of this? The thing is, I know you guys, I know a lot of you Yu-Gi-Oh players, you like custom stuff. I can tell you guys right now, these guys can make it out of anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. I actually sent this to my boy. This was literally a translucent logo of the Golden Goats, and he designed the rest. He did the rest. He created it on a gold, like a solid gold background, because we are the Golden Goats. And I didn't even ask him to do that. He basically just did this, and it was amazing. He also has one for Thunder Dragon Colossus that I'll probably eventually get. You guys know how much I love Thunder Dragons. And I'll put it to you this way. Any image you guys can think of, they can do it. And not only will they do it, you know, with really good quality, but they'll also make it strong. You guys saw that, like how strong these are. And I think a lot of people will think, you know, oh, well, you know, I have, you know, a deck box, I have a mat, you know, what do I need a field center for? I'm telling you, like, you know, you don't have to get one if you don't want to, but I'll just be perfectly honest with you guys. Field centers have become a lifesaver on mats, especially also for your opponent. Like, I'll be honest, I have actually played against people who use, you know, the real flashy, expensive Spellground, and they don't have a field center. And I have to ask them every time they play a card, oh, what column is that in? What column is that in? And they're like, oh, I think it's this column. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. One thing a field center can do, if it isn't for you, it's for your opponent. And you can literally just place this, you know, up top or however you guys do it. I know, like, the camera's not going to capture the whole mat, but the whole point is that this will be able to protect you from any kind of BS, any kind of crazy things that can go on, like with Infinite Impermanence, Mech Knights, any cards that require columns. And I think it's really important because, like, also, you know, how cards get set off multi-roll, stuff like that. You have to keep track of which cards were set. Granted, you won't know the names of them, but it's also knowing which cards were set, you know, which cards were set. Also, if they're only ever setting one, like, you'll know where it is. If you keep track of that, you'll know where it is. And, you know, column placement means a lot. Now, one thing I'll tell you guys is that besides the fact that field centers help with that, I mean, let's face it, I know a lot of people, including myself, you have calculator cases, you have all these things, you know, we all want to kind of look quote-unquote cool when we play the game. We want to have all our accessories, and that's exactly what this is. I'm a huge fan of accessories. I always have been. I've always liked calculator cases. I've always liked, you know, just flashy things people have. And, you know, I think it looks cool. You know, if you want to customize things your own way, you do it. You know, people have different kinds of deck boxes. They have all kinds of things like that. And one thing I can tell you guys that I really do like is that field centers like this, you know, you can just place them in your box, and you see that? They fit. Like, I think that's really cool. And, you know, you can even place it in place of your deck. You know, it still fits if you're using a double deck box. That works. I believe they even work in like the smaller deck boxes, like if you're using the single deck boxes, you see, perfect, you know. So either way, they're gonna fit, and they're gonna be something you can bring with you, and that's gonna come, you know, definitely be beneficial for you guys. So I know everyone's always trying to, you know, find a way to put everything into one box. Well, these definitely fit the mold. And one thing you'll notice, they are a little bit smaller, I would say, or no, they're about the same size. But yeah, now I know you guys can say, well, I'd rather use a paper one, and that's up to you. All I wanted to do is bring these guys to your attention. Again, they are known as the Dealing Team. I will have a link down below. Be sure to check them out. Be sure to tell them Slim sent you. You can order from them like through Facebook, through all different kinds of things. You can talk to the people there. They can make any kind of custom design you want, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. Like I said, it's rare I do product reviews. It's rare I do stuff like this, but definitely something I really do advocate for is a good field center, because you want, you know, yeah, like I said, you can always have ones like this, but you can also have customized ones that, you know, just really kind of symbolize you. Like, you guys know, like I've talked about, I'm pro Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, maybe Yu-Gi-Oh is not everything to you. Maybe you want a Pokemon one and you don't want to use an expensive Pokemon card, or you can't find a certain art of a card. You can find it online, and guess what? They can make it into a field center. That's the greatest part, is this is all you. This is custom you, and I think you'll definitely appreciate that in the long run. But that's everything I have to say here today, guys. Like I said, it's a little different video, but I definitely want you guys to check them out. Again, rewatch that 30-second clip that's in this video. It's crazy, like how strong these are made. And what's also really cool is when they send them to you, they also come in their own little customized little bag, little baggie. This is another one they sent me for their, you know, for their brand, the Dealing Team. They come in a nice nice little baggie. You guys can always just even keep it in the bag if you want super protection, like, you know, and you can travel with it like that. And I think that's really, really cool. I think this is something you guys should definitely check out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Any questions, feel free to direct them to me, and then if I can get a hold of my my guys on Facebook, I'll definitely have them be in contact with you depending on what design you want. But overall, I think they're awesome. I think they're a game changer. Field centers are going to become like the way of the future, because, you know, if we're not using mats like this and you're not getting mats with custom zones on them, it is going to be a lot harder to keep track of your stuff. And you may say, oh, well, I can keep track of it. It matters for both players, you guys. One player can be a snake, the other person cannot. You need to keep yourself safe. You need to make sure that your opponent, you know, plays fair. You need to make sure that column placement is always proper, because as long as Infinite Impermanence and Mech Knights are cards in the game, column placement matters. But anyways, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to check them out, and thank you for watching.